Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. In today's video, I am back again because I want to share with you what all planning and journaling looked like for me in the month of February. So I did one of these last month and I recapped January, and I'm feeling like I may do them, you know, monthly. I don't know, we will have to see. So first of all, we have, let's just talk about everything that I have here. So this is my 5-minute journal, and we'll flip through that and we'll talk about that. This is my Hemlock and Oak daily planner. And then I have 2 iPads, which is kind of a lot and a little excessive. It feels kind of cringe at times, but I will say that I got this one for free. So I bought this one with my hard-earned money. I did not technically buy this one with my hard-earned money. So that's kind of the difference between the two and why I have 2. I do use this with a Magic Keyboard, and I use it as a laptop. I edit my videos on here, write papers, create things in Canva, all sorts of different things. I do not own a laptop, so I use this and purchased this as a laptop. And then I got that some years ago actually, and then I just got this 1 year ago. So that's kind of my devices and what I use, the tangible products that I use each month to stay organized. We are going to start with just talking about how life went for me in February with this 5-minute journal. Okay, so this is my 5-minute journal by Intelligent Change, and I actually won this at an event a couple months ago, back in October, and I told myself that I would start using it in January, but I did not put any pressure on myself because I've never journaled this way, so I wasn't actually expecting perfection. Plus it wasn't something I spent my hard-earned money on, so I wasn't too confident that this was going to be something that I stuck to consistently. So this is where we left off last month, and I have not journaled at all since this day. Now the crazy part is I can't actually complete this because I remember vividly what happened on this day because I was out of town. And what had happened was I did the morning gratitude. We were at this hotel for my friend's birthday. I woke up early, did the morning gratitude. I had a nice little morning, some time to myself, because the trip was like 4 days. So I was with people the whole time. So I loved that. And then we just bounced around from bar to restaurant to club. And we didn't get home until, you know, the next morning. So I never quite finished this. And that's kind of where we're at. I have not gotten any further with this since then. So there's not much to talk about other than I just don't prioritize using it. When I wake up on the weekends, sometimes I don't roll out of bed until later, and then I just really don't think about it. I do try to keep it, I leave it in my eyesight, and I leave it close by. I just don't really do it. I don't know. I have no real reason for this, but again, I told myself originally I wasn't going to be too stressed about using it. So with that being said, it's not anything that I'm sad about, and I cannot make a commitment. I will not be sharing any commitment to using it more in March because I just don't think that that's going to happen. Next up, we have my Hemlock and Oak daily planner. So this is my work planner, and I love it. Same thing as last month. I keep my Hemlock and Oak brass pen in this here, and I don't want to kind of be talking about the exact same things that I talk about. Like, I don't want to repeat the same things each time, but I do want to share that what is still working, I guess. And so what's still working is using the brass pen. I did actually find that something was happening with the ink, so I did change I put a refill in it because the pen did come with a refill. So I hadn't used all the ink, obviously, in 1 month. I guess some people could. So I just preserved that ink and hopefully it'll get itself together. But I did put the new ink cartridge in. And then this is the color that I've been using and loving. This is a Zig Clean Color Dot Marker in grayish green, number 409. And I've been using that a good bit. But I just want to flip through it. And I do want to share that the sticky note graveyard was used, but not as much. Some of this is confidential, by the way, so I'll be a little weird at times or a little private at times, and that's why. But I was using this as a sticky note graveyard, and I just picked a random page. It could have been any page, but basically I was using some sticky notes in January, a good bit, and I've actually eased off of that for February. So we're going to talk about that, and then I'll talk more about this in a minute, because otherwise it's a little bit weird to just mention it. I will say I've been loving, I do use these the same way. So this will take me to my month. So this will take me to March. And then this will take me to the day, and today's March 2nd. So I last used it yesterday on Friday at work on March 1st. Happy Social Work Month, by the way. Happy National Social Work Month. Tell a social worker, they'll be surprised that you know it. But anyway, this takes me to the day, so March 1st. So I've been still using those, but I do love down here at the bottom, the pages are numbered and it shows like what page it is. So this one says like January 3rd, which is January 3rd. That's the page for January 3rd. So I'm gonna go to February 2024 and we're gonna talk about what happened here. All right, so for February 2024, as you can see, I did not use as many sticky notes. And the whole reason for the sticky note situation was honestly because when I was moving into this planner for the new year, it wasn't a new school year, it was just a new calendar year. And there had been a lot of meetings that had been scheduled for January, but meetings changed so much. And because we had like a 2.5 break from work, I was thinking, let me just use sticky notes until I get back to work after 2.5 weeks and see, you know, what's what with these meetings, to check my calendar to see if any had been canceled or rescheduled. So as they were at the time, I just put the meetings on a sticky note and placed them in here on the monthly calendar. And I left them there a pretty good bit. But in February, I eased off of those and I just started writing in the meetings, as you can see. So I'll walk you through what this is about. This is just a random little sticky note for a pop of color. But over here, I just have monthly to-dos. And if I did it, I put a check. If I didn't do it, I put an X. And if it were, like if I started it, if it was in progress, I put a half check or a half X, however you want to look at it. And I knew to roll over those things as well as the X things to March. And I put those items same place in March. So in February, let's see, I had some observations, I had some IEPs, some SPED meetings. Let's just kind of talk about my month at work, I guess. Observation and meeting. When I'm not doing observations and meetings, I'm doing lots of other things, like my actual job, the work that I feel like I do the most, which is having group and individual sessions with all of the students on my caseload. So I go to multiple schools per week. Lots of schools per week and multiple schools per day, but for the most part, observations, IEP meetings. This was National School Counseling Week, which was when I was celebrated at work. But while I am technically a school counselor, I identify as a social worker. That's why I personally will be celebrating National Social Work Month all of March. I need to put that in my March monthly spread, by the way. Anyway, IEP, I did crisis support. There was some, how can I be a little bit confidential? There were some losses at one of the schools in the district, so I provided crisis support on that day. IEP, monthly SPED meeting. I went to help a student transition because I got word this day that they had moved and would be enrolled in a different school. So I contacted their new counselor and went and met up with her to talk about the student. We also then talked about the student and their needs to the principals and guidance counselors and teachers. And then I also did a transition session with my student and the new counselor to get them acclimated so that they could, she could know what was what. I wanted that student to know. I want all students to know, to be in the know regarding any changes. I'm pretty honest with my students about everything, but I definitely just wanted to make sure that we all did that transition session together. It's a part of what we do as clinicians, so it's not anything out of the norm. IEP meetings, and the crazy thing about these IEP meetings is that they never take place on the days that I'm already at that particular school. So on Mondays, I go to 2 or 3 schools, but normally if a meeting is scheduled, chances are it's not going to be for a student at one of those schools. So I will have to try to fit in going to that other school to do that meeting because it's preferred to do meetings in person. But so just seeing these little meetings on here for the average person probably doesn't seem like much, but I'm thinking, I bet you on Wednesday, I went to my normal school that I go to, then I popped out to go to this meeting, then I came back to that school, then I went to another school to go to this meeting. I remember that. Anyway, professional development on Friday, then went to lunch with my coworkers, all for President's Day IEP meeting. I went to a Thursday, what'd you call it? Thirsty Thursday with some of my other coworkers. It was like a dinner. I did some observations. I had to meet with the teacher about a student so on and so forth. And then we had this one salary study meeting that was rescheduled for March, but that was pretty much February. And let me flip through the days. So this was Thursday, and I was kind of experimenting, as you can see, with how I wanted to set up the day. It doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, but I was liking the look of that. Don't you think that looks kind of cute? And then I went to highlighting the hours that I worked, and then sometimes I would mark, you know, with a line the hours that I worked too. But of course, I still use this the same way. I would just write in to-dos. And sometimes I write in, like I told you, personal to-dos, which would have included these. And then sometimes I don't. So it just kind of depends on how frazzled or not frazzled I am. If I'm at work and I think of a to-do that's personal that I can do at work, like calling someone, I might write it down so I can remember to do it. Or if I'm at work and I think of some to-dos that I can do at home and I don't have my personal planner on me, then I will write the personal to-dos in here. But still used it the same way as January. Off those 2 days, worked those days. I was using like this peach color, but didn't love it. I then tried to use this little bracket. I just try all sorts of different ways. I like to write notes in here from meetings. I'll draw an arrow and write notes. I do write an actual note in the computer in our electronic system for each meeting that I attend or any work that I do, but sometimes I'll just like write a small little note to trigger me to remember even what to write that note about, because I don't write notes until typically the end of the day or even the next day. So same thing here. This was an observation that I did for a student. I actually then transferred all that information to the actual observation form, and then I uploaded it to the electronic system. But again, sometimes I'll just have my planner on me and I'll just write notes in my planner. What's happening here? Oh, I think I thought I was gonna, why did I put a line through it? Oh, I wasn't off. I think I was writing off. I thought that was Saturday, and I think I thought that was Sunday, but I wasn't off. I just didn't plan that day at work, which is quite common. Then I tried something fun here. But as you can see, a pretty common theme. I used it the same way. I'm trying to flip through and see if there's anything new. I tried writing in cursive here and here, which I still try to do to hone that skill, hone in that skill so that it doesn't get lost, because people don't really write in cursive anymore, and I was taught to write in cursive growing up. Then I put off down in the column here in the schedule section rather than the intention section. And then back to work. I think these were, oh, I wrote that in the wrong spot. I was actually off. I do that often. It's actually kind of annoying. I don't know why I will do that. I'll just start planning on the next day that I have my planner, and I'll totally forget the next day that I'm looking at my planner, the next available page, and I'll totally forget that I hardly use this, that I don't really use it at all on the weekends or on days that I don't have work because of holidays and such. So that was a mistake, and I need to correct that because it's kind of annoying. It doesn't hurt anything, but sometimes I'll plan out, I think you'll see it in here where I plan out like the whole day, and it'll be, or like I'll start planning and I'm like, no, that's wrong, I'm off. So it happens, see, it happens a good bit. It's kind of a problem. But this is the end. Oh, actually it's not the end. That's where it gets confusing. We do have March, which I don't care if you see it. I just don't want it to be confidential information. So we're just gonna skip past it because February 29th ended here. So even though the March monthly spread is in between these pages, yep, right there, February ended here, and then March started here. So March monthly spread, the end of February, and then Friday, March 1st. So this was yesterday. And complete daily notes, complete observation forums. I didn't do those things. I'll have to do them on Monday. So I have to remember that I'm off these days. Maybe this will trigger me. Maybe I can start doing this on Friday. But then, see, I don't want to do it because what if it's a weekend and I want to plan use in this planner just for whatever reason. So I don't want to just put off, even though I am off. I just want to leave it alone in case I want to use this for personal planning. Anyway, that's that on that. So this is my work planner for February. Now let's talk about my personal planner, which, my husband's coming to pick me up. So I need to see where he is to see how much time that I have to do this. But let's go ahead and go to my personal planner. So on the personal side of things, we have my iPad mini, which is the exact same as my iPad Pro. And let me see if I need to turn the brightness up on these because it looks a little crazy. Okay, let's move some stuff around. All right, so we have my iPad mini and my iPad Pro. They are quite literally the exact same. Stop. They are the exact same devices. They look exactly the same. Let me just go into them. I always get a little tripped up. That one's touch ID, so I have to touch it to open it. This one isn't. No, this one's Face ID. But here we are. So just to give you a quick overview of the difference between these two. Let's see if I can get this brighter, if that helps. Sometimes turning up the brightness makes it weird, so we'll see. I think that's good. So the real difference between the two is that this has email on it, and this has my Google Calendar. That does too, actually. LumaFusion, that's what I use to edit. Canva, that does too, but I don't use it over there. GoodNotes, that one does too. So it does have a lot of the same apps, but mainly I use this for on-the-go planning and reading. This practically never leaves my purse, and this one I use as a laptop, so it's always in my backpack or just at home where you find your average laptop. But this one is normally on my person, in my purse, which is normally on my person. And so if I cannot access this, if I'm not at home or not at work, if I'm at the gym or here or there or wherever, I will access this. And of course I read on this at nighttime. But that's pretty much the main difference. Is think of this as your average laptop that happens to be an iPad, and think of this as your average, I don't know, your average e-reader slash planner. That's kind of how I use this. I use this for reading books mainly and for planning. That's it. But that's kind of the difference between the two. Nothing really too crazy. I will say I used this a good bit in February, and that brought me a lot of joy. I have been thinking about getting a second Apple Pencil, you guys. Now, while this will connect and work in a matter of seconds, look, it's connected, and now I can use it in a matter of seconds. Well, let's try this again, because it's trying to be weird today. Okay, so it only takes me a couple seconds to attach this and connect it and use it. The issue is, though, that I sometimes forget to grab my pencil from this iPad because I use it for editing. I use my Apple Pencil to edit and do all the things. Sometimes I forget to grab my Apple Pencil. So I have highly considered getting another Apple Pencil. I may do that, but as of right now, I've been getting along just fine for a full year without having two Apple Pencils. So I'm not too pressed about it, but make no mistake, if I could get, not like a knockoff Apple Pencil, that sounds terrible, but what do they call it? An imitation Apple Pencil, or a non-OEM Apple Pencil, or if I can get an Apple Pencil from maybe, I don't know, Facebook Marketplace for cheap or something, then I will definitely do that, because I have been thinking about getting a second one. But let's just talk about my actual personal planner and how I have been using this iPad and this planner to meet my needs for planning in the month of February. Okay, so we're gonna go into GoodNotes, and honestly, this view isn't that bad. I may start using this when I'm doing Plan With Me videos. You guys will have to let me know. I feel like it looks pretty good. I don't know, there was a time where I was having some issues with this camera and it picking up good. I don't know, I have trouble with that sometimes. It just, the content doesn't look that great. The footage is blurry and it's just a mess. Those email notifications were bothering me, so I had to get rid of them. But let's go ahead and go into GoodNotes. I have updated it. I've updated my cover since we last spoke, so it's green, and I've updated the colors of my folders here. So let's see what we want to dive into. Let's just go into the planner, and we're going to go to March. So to do that, we're actually going to, we can come up here to that, and then we're just going to go and flip to February. Obviously we're in March now, but this is February in my planner, and let's just talk about how it went. Okay, so here's my monthly spread, and on here I have everything that I did in the month of February. So I guess we can kind of like flip through it a little bit. I don't know. I feel like we'll change it up. So I did a Plan With Me in the month of February for the month. So you saw me setting up this, but I guess you don't actually see it at the end of the month because I have added some things between the when I filmed that video and now. But basically this is kind of how February went. Had some credit cards due, and I went to visit my friend. I had a financial social work collaborative meeting. I had a SPED meeting, which that was on my work planner, and that's because I wanted to make sure that I was, because that's kind of after work-ish. Sometimes I get off work at 3, so depending on when I start. So this is kind of after work-ish in my head, and so that's why I wanted to put it on this, because I just wanted to be reminded of it so I wouldn't forget, because a 3 o'clock meeting is something that I will easily forget. At my schools, we don't schedule meetings for 3 o'clock. Some of the schools actually are over by 3 some of the days. The only school that's not over at 3 is the high school, and it's over shortly after 3. So to me, that's kind of like an after work thing. So that's why I put it here. A financial social work event. I hosted Galentine's. Then I went to a Galentine's planner meetup. Then afterwards, my husband had a little Super Bowl party here at home. I went to another financial social work collaborative event. That was my friend's birthday. Another financial social work collaborative event. We had professional development. I went to lunch with my coworkers. I got my car windshield repaired. I went to hang out with my friend for her birthday, although I had another friend who had a birthday. She lives far away though. Then gave my dog her meds, paid our monthly credit card. This was, I think one of these was the business credit card. I had to pay it off. And then and then my husband's college tuition, we had to pay it off because he put it on his credit card. Every now and again, we put a thing on his credit card so that it does not close, because that's not the primary card that we use. We mainly use our travel credit card. President's Day, we were both off. My husband had an oil change. My husband had an e-learning day, another financial social work collaborative event, my friend's birthday outing. I went to Thirsty Thursday, then to her birthday outing. Went to a basketball game. That was my friend's actual birthday. That was canceled. So that was rescheduled. So let's delete that, because that just is hanging on here. Another financial social work collaborative event. I hung out with another friend. Oh, some of these aren't events. Some of these are meetings that we have to prep for the events. So I think the meetings are the Monday events, and then the rest of them are the actual events that we were prepping for. So another one, went to a basketball game, going to a basketball game now actually, another basketball game, and then that was the monthly spread in my personal planner. Now let's flip through to look at the goals. So these goals are just like a little reminder. I do have them in Notion, and I have them all planned out or organized in Notion. I have action steps in here. This is just a little synopsis of the goals. I don't do anything with it except leave them here so I can reference them. Then we have my monthly tasks, which I added some things to it. And if it was done in February, I put a check, not done an X, and halfway done or started or in progress, I put the what do you call that? Like a slash, I guess, a forward space, a back. What do you put? When you say like www./ yeah, I think that's a / So I put a / if it's in progress, which lets me know to bring all of those to the next month, which is what I did. Same deco down here from when we planned. Then I had my monthly vision board, or mood board rather. So instead of doing a vision board, I like to do a mood board and add in photos. It takes no time at all. Oh, I should have added this puppy. This is my friend's new puppy. Look, asleep, is hanging out the bag and asleep. That's a March. No, that is February. Maybe I will add it in here. I have to find a cute spot for it. Maybe, I don't know, I'd have to reconfigure that, but this is my mood board for February. Then this was me trying to organize some things for Galentine, so that's what that is. And I did get all of those done, so that's kind of how I use the notes page. I don't use it a whole ton, but if I do need to use it, I will put notes here so I can reference all the notes from the month on one page. And if I needed more, I would just copy the page and then paste it, or I would just simply duplicate the page. Then we have my highs, lows, lessons, favorites, and my habits. And I just put 2 lines here since February ended on the 29th, but I did the same thing with my habit tracking that I always do. And then that's it. So the one thing that you might be wondering about is how my planning, like what other type of planning that I may have done. Well, let me show you. First of all, let me show you a quick reference. I can see that my husband's on his way here. So I got like 5 minutes. So this is my sticker book. So anytime I want a sticker, I come to my sticker book and grab a sticker. And you have seen that before. I do have work stuff in here that's confidential. So I do reference this for work. Remember, I use it as a laptop. So I do have work types of things in here that I did use, but we just can't go into it. But in here I have some activities that I'll let my kids do on the iPad, like fillings, identification, and things like that. Those observation forms that I mentioned, they lie in here, and I will do the observation form on my iPad. I have consent forms that parents sign in here, and I will have them sign it on my iPad if I need to. So that's a fully functioning folder. It's just that it's confidential, so we can't go into it. But let's go into random, and I want to show you what this is. So this is random. No. Okay, that's like random personal stuff like tax documents and things. These are free planners that I have downloaded over the years if I want to access them. These are the 2022 planners that I have designed, and they're old. It's like an archive of all of my old 2022 planner stuff. This is an archive of all of my old 2023 planner stuff. And then this is my 2024 planner stuff. So if we go in here, you'll see this is a freebie planner. That's a pre-planner, and I did a video on that. And then we have another free planner, another free planner. Now these could go in the freebie planners, but really what I like to do is after the year is over, if I have not used these 2024 planners because they're dated, I will move them to the freebie section. So I just have them, or I'll just delete them, but that's why they're not in the freebie section. I also have I had all of my February 2024 weekly pages in here. So I create my own templates, and all of my January and February templates live in here. So whenever it's time to plan my week, I actually do plan my week on my digital planner. The reason why you don't see my week planned in here is because I deleted it. So what I like to do is I plan out my week, which the weekly spreads are normally after this page and before this one. So each week, each Sunday, like clockwork, I pick a template, whichever one that I want to pick, and I will plan out my whole week, and that's that. I'll copy it and I'll paste it over here, and then I'll plan out my whole week. When I am finished with it, when the week is over, I will put them here. So as an example, this is one of the weekly pages from February. So I came in, I planned out the whole week, and then after the week was over, I copied the page and I pasted it into what I call the week 2024 weekly. So this is where a lot of my weekly spreads live. There's no reason why I'm moving these pages around, except for I really don't like my planner to be cluttered. I don't know why. I just like to come in and I like to see the monthly spread followed by the monthly dashboard followed by the vision board. I normally delete the notes section too. As you can see, like I'm going to delete this one, delete that one, and then I like for the last page to be the monthly reflection. I don't know why, it's just a thing. So after the week is over, I move the page to the 2024 weekly section. That's just kind of how, that's just what I do. I don't know, I just keep them in here for reference mainly, if I want to reference it, but I don't know why. I just have no interest in keeping any of my weekly pages because I don't know. I don't know. I feel like all of the stuff that's on here is on my monthly. So all of this here, all of this right here is on my monthly. Okay, so I don't really need to I don't need a replica of this because it's already on my monthly. And then I don't really care about my to-dos that much. So I don't really need to remember them from week to week or year to year. So yeah, just kind of get rid of the page, or I don't get rid of it. My idea of getting rid of it is putting it in this folder here. But that's what I did in February. Worked out just fine. Again, this is the week that we're in right now, and this is in my March. Yeah, so it's after the March dashboard, but before the March mood board. But after March is over, or after this week is over. Today's Saturday, so tomorrow I think I'll use the same template again. I love this. I don't know why, but I will probably just go ahead and I see my husband like about to come up the street. I'm watching his location because he has him, his aunt, and his aunt's friend, and we're all going to the playoff basketball game. And so they're coming to pick me up. I'm the last stop. And I knew I could get this video in before then, but yeah, I'm watching him and I see him coming up my street now. So I gotta go. But this was February in my monthly planner, and I have been loving the system so far. The only thing is I'm thinking about getting a second Apple Pencil, and I'm a little skeptical about the journal because I'm not really using it, of course, because I'm just not really using it. So I'll keep trying, but if anything, that might be what I ditch from my system, but otherwise I am loving my system thus far. So that's going to be it for this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give this video a like, subscribe if you're new, and if you're liking what you're seeing, and I will catch you guys right back here in a few days in a brand new video. Bye guys.